afternoon and thank you for staying tuned with African News 24 TV, your premier source for timely updates from across the continent and beyond. I'm Mary Adam bringing you the latest developments in politics, sports and more. We begin this hour in Switzerland, where Nigeria's Vice President Shettima has commissioned the Nigeria House in Davos. Shettima said the opening of Nigeria House in Davos reflects the country's renewed seriousness, readiness, and resolve to take its place as an active participant in shaping global economic conversations. The vice president stated that while nations do not prosper in isolation, Nigeria's future growth depends on deliberate structured engagement with the global economy. Speaking during the formal opening of the Nigeria House at the 2026 World Economic Forum in Davos, Shettima said Nigeria marked a historic milestone in its global economic engagement with the official opening of its house at the WEF 2026. The vice president therefore invited the international business community to leverage the platform created through the Nigeria House project, noting that Nigeria is open for business, but more importantly, Nigeria is open for collaboration. Shettima assured that the Nigeria House will host conversations that must have to move the nation and the global community forward. Let's head to the courts, as the former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Diezani Alison-Madueke, has appeared before the Southwark Crown Court in London, the United Kingdom, for a plenary hearing in her ongoing bribery case. The proceedings, listed before Justice Thornton in Court 8, form part of pre-trial arrangements ahead of the commencement of her full trial scheduled for January 26, 2026. British authorities charged Alison-Madueke in August 2023 over allegations that she accepted a £100,000 bribe while in office. The UK National Crime Agency says she is suspected of receiving illicit payments in exchange for awarding lucrative oil and gas contracts during her tenure as Petroleum Minister. Alison-Madueke served in the position between 2010 and 2015 under the administration of former President Goodluck Jonathan and was elected President of the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries in 2014. Following her arraignment, she was granted bail in October 2023 in the sum of £70,000 by a Westminster Magistrates Court, which described her as a flight risk. The court imposed strict conditions, including a nightly curfew, the wearing of an electronic monitoring tag, and the payment of a £70,000 surety before the former minister's release. Back home, the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, was taken into custody by operatives of the Department of State Services shortly after securing his release from the Kuje Correctional Center in Abuja. It was gathered that DSS officers intercepted Malami immediately after he exited the facility, while the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission later clarified that it was not responsible for the action. Officials of the Nigerian Correctional Service said Malami had completed his bail requirements before leaving custody. A video circulating online showed Malami being escorted to a black vehicle outside the prison. In the clip, he was heard questioning the operatives and asking to see their identification cards. EFCC spokesman Dele Oyewale maintained that the commission did not rearrest the former minister. Malami's release followed a bail ruling delivered on January 7 by Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja. The court granted bail to Malami, his wife Asabe, and his son in the sum of 500 million naira each, with stringent conditions, including the provision of 2 sureties with verified properties in Abuja, submission of property documents and affidavits of means, and the surrender of international passports. The defendants were also barred from traveling outside Nigeria without court approval. The trio had been remanded at Kuje on December 29, 2026, after being arraigned by the EFCC on 16 counts of alleged money laundering involving about 8.7 billion naira. The anti-graft agency accused them of using multiple companies' bank accounts and real estate deals to disguise proceeds of unlawful activities. Let's head over to Katsina State, northwest of Nigeria, where the state government's plan to release 70 suspected bandits has sparked widespread outrage and criticisms from Nigerians, security experts, and civil society groups. The protest is over ongoing peace deal with armed groups operating in the state, aimed at consolidating peace and securing the release of abducted persons. The Katsina state government defends the decision, citing the need to sustain the peace deal and ensure the release of abducted persons. Commissioner for Internal Security Nasir compared it to wartime prisoner exchanges, but critics say this is a flawed analogy, saying the terrorists are not recognized combatants. Still in security, the Nigerian military says it has made a significant breakthrough in the fight against insurgency, having discovered an underground storage facility and fuel dump used by Boko Haram in Borno state. The facility, located in Timbuktu Triangle area, contained large quantities of fuel, medical supplies, food items, and assorted arms, which were believed to be stockpiled for insurgent use. The discovery was made during a clearance operation by troops of Operation Hidden Kai, aimed at flushing out remaining terrorist enclaves in the area. The military authorities described the operation as a significant blow to Boko Haram's logistics and operational capabilities. Items recovered from the facility included Baofeng radios, mobile phones, AK-47 magazines, ammunition, Boko Haram and ISWAP flags, and diesel-powered grinding machines. The military also impounded a pickup truck and large quantities of medical supplies. Welcome back. On business news, Nigeria's banking sector is facing a surge in loan defaults, with non-performing loans rising to 7% in 2025, exceeding the prudential limit of 5%. The Central Bank of Nigeria attributes this increase to the withdrawal of regulatory forbearance measures introduced during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the CBN's Credit Conditions Survey, default rates on secured loans increased in the third quarter of 2025, while unsecured loans defaults decreased. Small businesses and households are among the most affected, with many struggling to repay loans due to economic pressures, inflation, and high interest rates. Despite the rise in defaults, banks have increased credit availability, driven by improved economic outlooks for secured and corporate lending. From banking to the oil sector, Nigeria's non-oil exports have reached an unprecedented milestone, hitting an all-time high of $6.1 billion in 2025, marking an 11.5% year-on-year increase. According to the Nigerian Export Promotion Council, the country's non-oil exports have expanded to 281 products, spanning agricultural commodities, processed and semi-processed goods, industrial inputs, and solid minerals. The top-performing non-oil exports for the year include cocoa and its derivatives, urea, cashew, sesame seed, gold, aluminium ingots, copper ingots, soya beans and meal, and rubber. The Netherlands, Brazil, and India emerged as the top three destinations for Nigeria's non-oil exports, accounting for 17.53%, 10.35%, and 7.63% of total exports, respectively. And on the foreign scene, China has called on the European Union to maintain a fair and transparent business environment, following reports of a potential phase-out of Chinese supplies from key EU infrastructure projects. China's foreign minister has labeled the move as naked protectionism and urged the EU to provide a non-discriminatory environment for Chinese companies. The proposal, to be presented on Tuesday, targets companies like Huawei and ZTE and may impose minimum made-in-Europe requirements on public purchases of key green technologies. Germany and France have vowed not to be intimidated by U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff threat over Greenland. German Finance Minister Lars Klingbeil stated, quote, "We Europeans must make it clear the limit has been reached," end of quote. While French Finance Minister Roland Lescure described the U.S. move as blackmail between allies of 250 years. The EU is considering retaliatory measures, including tariffs on $107.7 billion of U.S. imports and the anti-coercion instrument, which could limit U.S. access to public tenders and restrict trade in services. EU leaders will discuss options at an emergency summit in Brussels on Thursday. Welcome to sports. Chelle is set to continue as Nigeria's Super Eagles head coach, having recently led the team to the AFCON 2025 semi-finals. The Franco-Malian coach, who took charge in January 2025, has expressed commitment to the team, stating that he didn't accept the job for financial gain, but for the challenge and opportunity to achieve something significant. Chelle's contract, reportedly worth $50,000 per month, is still intact, and he has been focusing on tactical preparations for upcoming matches. His experience leading Mali to the 2023 AFCON quarterfinals has earned him recognitions, and he continues to work towards revitalizing the Super Eagles. Former Nigeria Football Federation President Ahmadu Pinnick has ruled out returning to lead the governing body, putting an end to speculation about a possible third term. Pinnick, during a media interaction, stated, quote, "I'm young, I'm 55, I could still be president, but do I want to be? Never," end of quote. Pinnick served as NFF president from 2014 to 2022, overseeing the Super Eagles qualification for 2018 FIFA World Cup. He also held influential roles in African and global football, including first vice president of the Confederation of African Football and FIFA's organizing committee member. The 55-year-old administrator emphasized he is satisfied with his 8-year tenure and believes it is time for new leadership to address the federation's challenges. Welcome to entertainment. Wizkid and Asake's collaborative track Jogodo has broken records, surpassing 5.5 million streams on Spotify in just 3 days since its release. The song, which debuted at #1 on the Nigeria Daily Chart and #82 on the global chart, has amassed over 1.388 million streams on its first day, marking the highest single-day total for any duo or collaborative release in Spotify Nigeria history. Jogodo is the lead single for the upcoming joint EP Real, Volume 1, scheduled for release on January 23, 2026. Reality TV star Kassia has revealed that the early days of 2026 has been more challenging for her than the whole of 2025. The BB9 star disclosed that all her staff resigned shortly before the new year, describing the situation as unexpected despite the setback. Kassia says she has chosen to reflect and trust God's process. In a post on X, she thanked over 100 people who reached out expressing interest in working with her, but clarified that she is not recruiting yet. According to her, she is currently restructuring her team, KXB, to build a stronger operational system before bringing in new members. Kassia added that she believes the challenges she is facing are preparing her for greater opportunities ahead. And that's all for now. Stay tuned for more updates on the stories and more on our website at africannews24.ng. Follow us on all our social media platforms to stay informed and ahead. I'm Mary ADIM. See you at 6 p.m. Good afternoon.